So I want to welcome everybody to the Advanced Smartphone Settings class, part number two. And for group number 2, I didn't call it group number 1 and group number 2, I call it 330 and 1. So this is the 330 group, which is really group number 1, but don't let group number 2 know. Yeah?
There were a couple items we didn't finish yesterday.
So did you get the sheet? The new sheet? The first 2 things on the new sheet are those new lines. Who would have thought that I actually...
But they say different things.
No, they're the same thing. I just didn't look back at the old sheet. So, what we're going to talk about, they say essentially the same thing. We were talking about the serial number and the Wi-Fi/MAC address. Now, this is something we didn't go into yesterday. So, we're going to go into Settings. We're going to go to General. And we're going to go to About. So, Settings, General, and About. And then we're going to scroll down to where it says serial number and Wi-Fi address. Now, I don't know where we got to exactly yesterday, but did we start even talking about the serial number? I think we just tabled it. Okay.
Put on anything.
So what is the purpose of the serial number on your device? Do any of you know?
To track it.
No, it's got nothing to do with tracking it.
Okay.
Uniquely identified.
To theoretically uniquely identify the device. There is no database between manufacturers making sure what's going on. And what's really cool is you can actually decipher, you can Google this, you can decipher Apple serial numbers to see when your device was actually made. You can figure out what week of the month it was made and different things like that. It's a unique identifier. So if you go into Settings, General, and About, you will see your serial number. Now your serial number for your device is in Settings, General, About. It's also on the box of the device when you buy the device. It should also be, if you buy a phone from a reputable dealer, it should be on your receipt as well. Here's the thing. You said the serial number, you said right there, the serial number is for tracking the device. Here's the question. Give me your device. If I have your device, what good is that serial number going to do me? Since it's out, why not?
No.
Good. So it's going to do me no good if I have your device because it doesn't allow me to actually track the device. Here's the thing though. There's something other than the serial number that actually lets you track the device. It's called the Wi-Fi address. Now, the Wi-Fi address is also known in computing terms as the MAC address, which stands for Machine Access Control Address. It is the serial number of your Wi-Fi card. I'm sure what some of you have seen before, if you try and you sign into a website, it says, we don't recognize this device.
Yes.
Signing into this website, we need a verification code, things like that.
Yep.
Every time you sign into a website, you submit your username, your password, and your Wi-Fi address. That's what you don't realize. If you do it on a computer, you do it on an iPhone, you do it on whatever you want, you submit your username, your password, and your Wi-Fi address. If you're doing it over a cellular network, you're submitting your username, your password, and your IMEI number. So that's essentially the Wi-Fi address of the cell phone component. Your iPad, if it doesn't have cellular data, won't have an IMEI number in it. So it won't have an IMEI number in it if you don't have cellular data on the device. So, what good is a Wi-Fi address? Now let me tell you what happened about 4 days ago. About 4 days ago, I'm helping set up devices on the table over there, and someone walked off with my iPhone by mistake. Now let me be completely honest with you, this is not the first time that's happened, this is not the second time that's happened, not the third time that's happened, not the fourth time that's happened, not the fifth time that's happened, that's easily the 10th or 11th time that's happened before, because my iPhone's in a generic black case and people just grab it and think it's theirs and they're like, okay, iPhone right there. So I have written down the Wi-Fi address for all of my devices. And I'm going to let you know something. We do not actively do what I'm about to tell you. Okay, let's be very clear here. I can track a device all over the ship if I have its Wi-Fi address. So you see Celebrity Wi-Fi as one thing, but there's actually 700 different routers all over the ship that have Celebrity Wi-Fi being broadcast on it. And I could tell, number one, which router it's connected to, and number two, if it's connected to 3 routers, I can actually triangulate the phone's position exactly. So I can triangulate the phone's position exactly if I have 3 routers. And what was cool is I had my lost phone, and what did I do? I traced it walking through the whole ship. I saw it walking through the whole ship. So every time my phone disappears, I know the Wi-Fi address of all of my phones, and I can actually watch it go through the entire ship. And it's really cool, and I actually knew exactly when the woman was coming back because I saw it go back. Now, we don't use the Wi-Fi address to trace you, but does that mean other people don't? Now, have you ever signed in somewhere before for free Wi-Fi?
Yeah, yeah.
And they ask for your email address,
Yeah.
essentially. When they're asking for your email address and they have your Wi-Fi address, they're able to track you on multiple visits. One of the very interesting companies that uses Wi-Fi address tracking or MAC address tracking is Disney. So you know when you go to Disney, you got the wait time signs? How do they know how long the wait time is? They have a Wi-Fi router that says Walt Disney World Wi-Fi. They all say Walt Disney World Wi-Fi at the entrance to the queue. And they have a Wi-Fi router right where you get on the line that says Walt Disney World Wi-Fi. And they can track everybody's phone and figure out how long it takes from when you enter the queue to when you get to the end of the queue. It's actually not in the queue. It's actually on different rides. It's right when you get on the ride vehicle. You know where the check station is, that they check that your seatbelt's buckled and stuff like that? They actually check from the time you walk through the entrance to the time you go out the other way, and they can track it. They track where you eat, they track where you sleep, they track, they track everything like that. That's what places that give you free Wi-Fi are doing. Now, Disney ships do the exact same thing. You can track all of your kids' devices based on your Wi-Fi address. That is a unique thing to your phone. But if your device were to get lost or stolen, one of the pieces of information that's very useful is your Wi-Fi address. Your serial number is no use on a police report, because it will only help the police if they find your phone to know who it is. It doesn't actually help them track it down. Long before the days of smartphones, when I was an IT manager at a university, someone stole my laptop. This is before iCloud, this is before any of the other stuff. Remember what I said, I was the IT manager at that university. So you think I traced my laptop and figured out exactly where it is? You think I got the police and we came up right on the person that was using my laptop and arrested them? Of course we did. And here's the great thing, my laptop was worth more than $1,000, therefore, what was that? That was grand theft. That was grand theft, that was a felony. So the interesting thing you want to keep a copy of is your Wi-Fi address. Now,
What about, why didn't you just use Where's My iPhone?
Aha! Why didn't you just use Find My iPhone? Because my device was not logged in at the time, number one. Let's talk about for the ship. Let's talk about the ship. My device wasn't logged in, and there's no GPS signal inside the ship. Therefore, I can't actually find it. Plus, even if there were a GPS signal, it would just say, ship. When you're out in port, you can't really use it much either, because if you don't have cellular data roaming on, Find My iPhone works. So Find My iPhone only works if your device has internet. Does that make sense there?
Yeah.
So what I was saying is, if you have this, you want to make sure you have a copy of this. Now, every time you log into Celebrity Wi-Fi, we actually log your Wi-Fi address. I've had people before that come and they go, my cabin attendant used my Wi-Fi. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But no, I'm going to tell you a true story. He goes, my cabin attendant used my Wi-Fi because I had my username and password written down on the table, and we took the Wi-Fi address, we put it into our system, and we were actually able to tie that Wi-Fi address back to a device that that cabin attendant has logged in with before. So people are not always crazy, they're just mostly crazy. But in the future, I want you to think of this. Imagine if you were to take a device, log into your account once, and as long as the Wi-Fi address didn't change, you don't have to change, you don't have to ever log in again. It knows that's your device. You see where it's coming from. It knows that's your device. We're going to talk about, the last thing we're going to talk about today is actually resetting your device, like resetting it.
The Wi-Fi address on the thing here.
Aha! The Wi-Fi address on the thing here is ...
Where do you
It's
see the
because you have your larger text on. I'll show you how to do that. One way to get around ... on the bigger phones is turn them sideways. You can't do it on that. You don't have the bigger phone.
Right.
So when we get into accessibility, I'll show you how to do that, how to make that text a little smaller. But what we want to do is we want to take a screenshot of the Wi-Fi address. Like I said, we likely have the serial number, but we want to take a screenshot of the Wi-Fi address. So if we press the power button and the home button at the same time, briefly, it takes a picture. Power button, home button, same time, briefly. The home button's the one right on the front of the device. The power button's the one on the side of the device or the top of the device, and it takes a picture. And here's the question: where does that picture instantly go?
In the cloud.
In the photos place. Then where does that picture go from there?
The cloud.
So you held it too long. You gotta. Okay, so here's the thing. I said you press it briefly. When you hold it down. I said briefly, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm making sure. It's just rebooting your device. It's okay. So
Did
if
I
you,
get the picture?
no.
I have to do it
That's
again.
also the reboot command, the hard reboot, like pull the plug out and put it back in if you do it for too long. So it's going to automatically go into Google Photos, and what's really cool is inside of Google Photos, believe it or not, there's actually an automatic section for screenshots.
Yeah, right.
So if you go into the search function in Google Photos, there's an automatic section that's like, okay, here are your screenshots. So you see I have all of my screenshots right there. And then if I'm not sure what this device is, I can just type in the serial number. So I type in the serial number and I can find on Apple's website that that's my iPhone 7 or whatever it is, because it'll show me the purchase date. So even if I don't know what the device is, I can find the Wi-Fi address on there. You want to make sure you have the Wi-Fi address on all of your devices. Does the Wi-Fi address make sense?
Yes.
It is the serial number of your Wi-Fi card, and that is why a lot of websites get angry and say, you haven't signed in on this device before, we need an additional step of verification. Cool? Makes sense. Okay, so let's move on to the meat and potatoes of today's class. I don't remember it because I just wrote it. We are not going to finish everything here today. I'm willing to say we're not going to finish everything here today. Okay, so we're not going to finish everything here today, but we're going to start with invert colors. On our way to invert colors, Jane, I know. We'll take a look after the class. I've known her for years, but
Don't miss.
okay. So on our way to invert colors, I'm going to show you how to make the text smaller if your entire text is not showing there. So we're going to go into Settings, General, Accessibility. Settings, General, and Accessibility. And I want to show you something that says, you should see something that says larger text. Do you see that there?
Yeah.
Click on larger text. And that slider should be right in the middle, but you have it up a bit, correct?
Yeah.
If you move it right back to the middle, then your whole serial number will show up there. So just as an FYI, you can do that. You can actually fit more text on the screen by making the text even smaller. Now, let's talk about invert colors. We talked somewhat about seeing your device outside yesterday. Remember we talked a little bit about seeing the device outside?
Yes.
And we talked about, if you put it up, the brightness will actually go up higher. But one of the places that's really hard to see it is, have any of you ever been to the Dead Sea before?
Yes.
If you've ever been to the Dead Sea before, I was out at the Dead Sea and I'm trying to look at my iPhone and I'm going like this. Very rarely does a passenger teach me something, but someone came up and taught me something very interesting that day. They said, there's an easier way to see it outdoors, and I said,
How?
yeah, right. Yeah, how? You realize who you're talking to. They're like, yeah, I realize who I'm talking to. They go, what you do is you turn on invert colors. So invert colors used to be right inside of accessibility. They moved it a little bit. Now it's in accessibility and then display accommodations. So if we click into display accommodations, inside of display accommodations, there's a button that says invert colors. Do we see that there?
Mm-hmm.
And if I go ahead and turn that on,
Inverse what?
invert colors.
Where's that in?
Settings, General, Accessibility, on the top. Display accommodations. Go ahead and click it and invert colors, and you will see it inverts your colors.
Oh, yes.
So, I want to point out something. So, number one, when you have the color black, you're going to have less reflection. If you look at my watch, take a look at my watch. What's the primary color coming off of my watch? No. Let's try that again.
Blue.
The lack of color is also color. The primary color on my watch, the primary color on my watch's screen is actually black. There's more black than anything else on that screen. Black is a color, whether we want to admit it or not. Black is a color. Here's the thing. Black is actually very useful on this watch because on this watch, it does not cost the watch any battery life to show the color black. On your phone, you have one giant light that's behind the screen, and it's taking just as much energy to show the color black as it is to show any other color. Yeah?
Is this the same thing as hitting the home button 3 times?
We're going to hit the home button 3 times a bit later. If you have that set up as your accessibility shortcut, then yes, it's the same thing as hitting the home button 3 times. We're going to use the accessibility shortcut for something else a little bit later on in the class. But invert colors, you'll notice that this screen is now black. Now I can see it outside. As of right now, this will not save you any battery life. In the future, though, it might, because Apple is going to go, likely, to a similar panel that they have on the Apple Watch, where the color black doesn't cost any energy to show. Does that make sense?
Future models, right?
Yes. So this is the only Apple product, the watch, that has what's called an AMOLED screen. Actually, I'll be honest with you, that is a lie. I just lied because I realized there's another one. You see this little touch bar on my MacBook Pro right here?
It does.
That's got the same type of screen that the watch does. The color black does not cost anything for that bar to show. So the only thing that's, not money, power. It doesn't take any power to run the color black on there, and that's the primary color. So it's possible that in future iPhones, you're going to save yourself a lot of battery life by running on invert colors. Yeah.
So would you use your iPad for reading outside?
Yes, so you can actually
see
read
the sun?
outside in invert colors in the sun
Oh my
because
God.
the sun, much like, remember the cases we talked about the other day with the
Yeah.
black? It doesn't reflect light. The color
What a
black doesn't
difference.
reflect light. So it actually works really good to go ahead and put it on invert
That's
colors.
cool. That's good.
We're going to turn off invert colors because here's the thing. Weird things happen when we leave it on invert colors for the whole class. That's what I've noticed is weird things happen when we leave it on there for the whole class. And we're going to go back in accessibility. And the next thing we're going to talk about really does have to do with battery life. It's called reduce motion. Do you see that? It's down just a couple more from there. Reduce motion. Now, I want to show you the most battery-intensive thing you generally do on your iPhone or your iPad every day. And you're going to say, that doesn't seem battery-intensive, but switching between apps is actually very battery-intensive because, watch what happens here. Do you see how it's zooming in and zooming out of the app, and it's zooming in and zooming out of the app, and then zooming in and then zooming out of the app? When it's doing that, that's actually extremely battery intensive to zoom in and zoom out, zoom in and zoom out. It's using a lot of power to go ahead and do that zoom. So instead, if you were to turn on reduce motion, instead of zooming, it's just going to fade between. That's going to add an additional 5% of battery life to your device. Leave it on. Leave on reduce motion. Now, if you remember yesterday, remember we talked about low power mode. And it said low power mode temporarily reduces power consumption so you can fully charge your phone. When this is on, mail fetch, hey Sudi, I don't want to activate it, hey Sudi, background app refresh, automatic downloads, and some visual effects are reduced or turned off. You know what visual effect is turned off? Reduce motion is turned on. So it reduces the motion. So this is going to give you actually an additional, out of a normal day usage, an additional 5% or so out of your battery life. And it's really quite cool. So I leave reduce motion on all the time.
So then mine put on automatically auto
That's fine.
message effect?
That's fine. Has anybody ever said like Happy New Year or congratulations to you and messages and like the screen explodes or
Yes.
that's a message effect.
Oh, okay.
The reason reduced motion originally existed was for people with epilepsy, so they wouldn't have problems with the flashing screen. And in the original iOS 10, it also automatically turned off those message effects for people with epilepsy. Apple realized a lot of people are using reduced motion just to kind of make the device get better battery life, so they enabled that. That's okay. You can leave that on as long as you're okay with those message effects. So I want you to know what we're dealing in. We're dealing in accessibility. This is nowhere that probably none of you have been to accessibility before, am I correct? What I'm doing, accessibility is used for people that have vision problems, hearing problems, speech problems, different things like that. But I find some of the things in here incredibly useful. That's what's quite interesting. Now the next thing I want to talk about is something that's very dangerous to do if we don't know what we're doing. And it is the hardest thing we do in all of the classes. So it is called guided access. Have you ever heard of guided access before?
No.
This is very, very, very cool. You know the kiosks that they have all over the ship that tell you about the future cruises from Celebrity, and they have all those kiosks that are around? So those little kiosks that are around the ship for the future cruises, they have iPads inside of them. I don't know if you know that, but they have iPads inside of them. And you've noticed that you can't leave that app. You can't leave the Future Cruises app. It wasn't always that way, because if you know anything about iPads, all you need to do is take 3 fingers, you pinch, and then it brings you back to the home screen, to give you an idea, even if you don't have access to the home button. So what guided access allows you to do is it allows you to lock yourself inside of an app. So if you hand someone your phone and say, hey, take a look at these pictures, take a look at this slideshow, you can safely hand it to them and know they can't do anything other than what you want to allow them to do. Does that make sense
If
there?
that's on.
You mean by
We're gonna turn it
accident
on.
as well?
Yes.
My
So
So what are we turning?
we're going to go all the way down the bottom, and you'll see something called guided access. We're going to turn this on. And then do you see where it says passcode settings underneath it? Click on passcode settings. And there's a button that says set guided access passcode. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So we're going to hit on set guided access passcode. The passcode for everyone in this room is 6666 or 66666, not because of the devil, because we're on deck 6, okay? It's not
Okay,
because, it's because
okay.
we're on deck 6. I don't want you choosing anything other than that right now because I want to make sure we can all get out in a worst case scenario. Okay. And now we've turned on guided access, and guess what? Nothing's happened.
Right?
Why? This is kind of cool. Nothing's happened because guided access is not designed to work automatically. It's designed to work when you want it to. So we're going to go out of settings, and we're going to go to our Photos application, one where the pictures are. And here's what we need to do to enable guided access. To enable guided access, yeah, not Google Photos, Apple Photos. Apple Photos. So we're going to go to the Apple Photos application, and to activate guided access, what we have to do, she was referencing it earlier, is we have to triple click. Now don't triple click yet, because I want to explain to you what a triple click is. Okay, a triple click is click, click, click. Okay, a triple click is not click, click, click. Very important. So click, click, click. If you do a double and then you wait, that's a double and a single. So you got to go click, 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 and it should ask
At the home button.
on the home button.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
And it'll ask if you want to start guided access.
Or
Circle areas on the screen.
Then you want to-
All right. So we should see something that looks like this. I'm going to get rid of all my circles.
No, is it supposed to look like this?
No, you have to click, click, click.
But I have
I
albums
didn't touch
there.
anything, I just clicked 3 times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine did the same thing, I
A little
think.
different.
It's okay.
Okay.
Click, click, click.
This is
Okay.
click, click, click.
There we go. Guided access, and it should say, if we got it, I want to make sure we got it. It should say guided. Go ahead and tap guided access. That's fine.
Just a little
Yep.
different
That's
screen.
not-
That's perfect screen. That's exactly the screen I have.
Is that it?
I had to do another step.
No, that was click, click, click.
Yeah.
You gotta click, click, click.
Click, click, click.
Okay, so it's click, click, click. You gotta get the cadence right to get it going. But this is guided access. And what guided access allows you to do is it allows you to lock the device inside of a single app. Do we all get it? We're good? So you see where it says options in the bottom left-hand corner? Go ahead and click on options. And when we click on options, we can choose from a bunch of different options. We can choose whether the buttons work, whether the Sleep Wake button works, whether the volume can change. Okay, so again, it's click, click, click. General accessibility. Invert colors is off. Let's go into here. A little harder. Here.
So what do we do?
Okay, I'm just showing you. There we go. So you can choose whatever you want. So click, click, okay, you cannot enable guided access from the home screen. You have to be inside of an app. Click, click, click. There we go. So then I can choose if I want to have a time limit on my guided access. So you see where it says time limit on the bottom? If you give the kids your phone and say you can play a game for 5 minutes,
You can,
they can play the game for 5 minutes and then it locks out the phone. So I'm going to set a 1-minute time limit so you can see what goes on here. I can even go ahead and circle areas of the screen I don't want people to be able to touch. So if I want no one to be able to throw something in the trash, and the trash can, let's say, is up here, I can circle up there, and it makes that a no-touch zone. Then go ahead and hit start in the upper right-hand corner.
mine says done.
We're done.
Go ahead and yeah, hit done.
Ah,
Hit done, and then hit start.
I missed that bit.
Done, and start in the upper right-hand corner. Just hit start.
Circle something.
Now guided access has been started. Correct? Try and get out of the Photos app. Press the home button. Try and get out.
And.
Oh,
Guided
yes,
access.
ah, 49
That's
seconds.
very clever.
Also, what you'll notice is,
Yeah, my husband.
if I wanted to touch the edit button up here, you see I've set that as a no touch zone. I can't touch it. Now remember, if you're going to lock something down though, you need to make sure that you lock the rotation, because if I want to touch the edit button, all I actually have to do... Oh, I did lock the rotation. I was smart enough to do that. So I did lock the rotation, and in a couple of seconds it's going to say, too bad, Rich, your time is up. You didn't use the app. You didn't use your 1 minute of time. It should be...
When I push the home button, I get a little thing that says guided access.
Correct.
enabled. Triple click the home button to exit.
Correct. But you're going to need a pin as well. So you set this up and you give it to the kids. But so I have I set it for 5 minutes. So now to get out of guided access, to get out of that app, all I have to do is triple click again.
Okay.
But then it comes up with this.
Then you put in the pin and then you're out of the app.
And you put it in again.
Ah.
And then you'll hit end in the upper left-hand corner.
Right?
See end in the upper left-hand corner?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cancel's fine.
Why can't I triple click? Is this also good for the iPad?
This is good for any Apple mobile device, so iPhones, iPads, iPod touches, it'll work on anything.
Like
It's called guided access. It's really cool when people are like, oh, that's actually
To home.
triple click home. You gotta get the cadence right. Bump, bump, bump.
I can't.
Not bump, bump, bump. It's bump, bump, bump. Now I'm going to tell you what happened is we had a guy when we were on the solstice that I let people set their own passcode. He forgot his passcode.
Uh-oh.
Now, if you were to forget the passcode or someone were to put in a passcode and do guided access, all you need to do is hold down the two buttons and reboot the device, right? But when you hold down the buttons, you reboot the device, it's going to ask you for your 4-number code or your 6-number code to get in. Here's the problem though. It's going to ask you for that code. But what it's also going to ask you for is it's going to ask you, if you don't have a code, it's going to ask you for the guided access code again. So the guy who did it didn't have a code set up on his device. So the only way I got him out of the Photos app was updating his software to a beta version of the iPhone software that wasn't out yet. Because elsewise he had a phone that got to the Photos app, and the Photos app, and the Photos app. Now the next thing I'm going to show you, I'm showing you not because I like it. Okay, I'm showing you because I don't like it. And why I'm showing you because I don't like it is because someone in the first class asked for it. I added it to the list. I left it here. I want to show you because some of you have probably used it before. It's still in accessibility.
Wait, Richard, should we
I
disable
was-
that?
No, okay, so here's what's cool. There is no need to disable that. It will only happen when you triple click.
But, okay, my phone,
No,
Yeah.
I want to
Triple click.
find accessibility.
I get my
Where
hearing
is
aid
it?
settings.
Okay, for you, yes.
General,
For you, yes, you can disable that.
how do we do this? Okay, just go back.
Just go back, turn off guided access, and it'll go back to how it was before. So yes, if you use the triple click for anything else, like you use the triple click for something,
Yeah.
then you can leave that right there. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is something called assistive touch. It's something I personally hate. And hate is the real word for it. If we click back to accessibility from guided access, we're in settings again. You'll see something called assistive touch.
Okay.
Go ahead and turn it on. This is something we're going to turn right off, but I'm sure you've seen this before. This is when you get a little floating home button
Oh,
that's on your screen. It's annoying. It
Yes.
gets in the way.
Yes.
It's angry. The reason it's there is due to something. I'm going to teach you a word now, a phrase. It's a manufacturing phrase from the tech world. It's called MTBF. Mean time before failure, not between. Well, it can be between as well if it's a replaceable part, but in the consumer world, mean time before failure. So when you have this digital button on the screen, you can use it as a replacement for your home button. Your home button has an MTBF of about 150, 200,000. Meaning you can click the home button about 100,000 times before it starts. Does anybody's home button not work every time
Well, no,
anymore?
but I had an old iPod.
That didn't work.
It didn't work, and
They enabled that.
They enabled
They
that.
enabled the
Exactly.
accessibility shortcuts.
Oh.
That's what it's generally used for.
Okay.
But there's some other ones in here, like you can go ahead and you can take a screenshot. You can rotate a screen. You can do here. If I wanted to take a screenshot, I can do it. This is designed for people who don't have mobility in their hands to go ahead and press those two buttons at the same time and different things like that. But in my personal opinion, it just gets in the way. And now, if you were to buy a new iPhone, there is no MTBF in the new iPhone home button because the home button is fake. The iPhone 7 has a fake home button. It doesn't move. Like, watch. Press my home button. Go ahead. Does it feel like it moved?
Oh,
It doesn't.
well, it does feel as if it has gone
It
down.
feels as if it's gone down, but it doesn't actually go down. There's a little vibration motor in there that fakes it. If you take an iPhone 7 and you turn it off and you try and press the home button, it doesn't press. So Apple actually eliminated the MTBF, and if you get a new device, you're never going to break your home button, and you don't need assistive touch.
But I have a 7.
You have a 7, then you're fine.
Assuming you wanted to do that, what would you do from this?
Nothing. What you have is you have a little floating home button right there. If you want to get rid of it, you just go back into settings and turn off assistive touch. There's no reason to leave it on.
So what's the point of a home button?
So this is getting ready. You ask a very good question. This is getting ready for the removal of the home button. The new Samsung phone, we actually got into this tangent last, the new Samsung phone does not have a home button. The home button is embedded in the screen. The problem is, I'm going to tell you a big technical problem that's a technical challenge that I think is relevant to talk about right now that's facing. Samsung was trying to embed the fingerprint sensor inside of the screen. They have the home button in the screen. So what's likely going to happen in future iPhones is you're going to see that's all going to be screen. Samsung tried to put the fingerprint reader in the screen and failed miserably. So at the last minute, you know where they put the fingerprint sensor? On the back, right next to the camera. What do you think happens to the camera? It just gets smudged. But what they've done, what Samsung did as a takeaway, is they added facial scanning and iris scanning to their phones. It takes a little bit longer than pressing the fingerprint sensor, but here's the thing. Apple does things to start getting people ready for things. So they removed the headphone jack on the iPhone 7, and a lot of other manufacturers are removing the headphone jack now. I made a joke the other day that Samsung has the headphone jack there to let the steam out, but the reality is it's very hard to waterproof a headphone jack. It's very hard to do those things with a headphone jack. Samsung actually, they put a headphone jack in their phone. If they would have skipped the headphone jack, they could have put a bigger battery in it. I'm perfectly fine with no headphone jack in a phone. The reason there's no headphone jack in the iPhone 7 is because it actually has a bigger battery in it than the one before. It's the first iPhone that's gotten a bigger battery than the one that came directly before it. So they've usually shrank the battery to add more things. So the idea is if you get rid of the home button, they're going to put the home button underneath the screen. Here's the big problem though, while we're on home buttons, while we're on assistive touch, I want you to go out to the main screen of your device. Now when we're talking about the home button, the old descriptor used to be, people would ask me, they go, is my device too old? Should I get a new iPhone? Last year, my descriptor for that was, if your device still has that big ugly connector, you know, the dock connector, it's time to get a new device. My opinion has changed a bit this year. If your device does not have Touch ID, which is the fingerprint reader thing, it's time to get a new device if your device has no Touch ID. And there's something really cool called reachability. You need to be out on the main screen to do this, but what I want you to do is, if you have Touch ID, the fingerprint sensor, whether it's set up or not, if you not touch, but tap the home button twice, we're not clicking the button, we're just tapping the top of it 2 times, you're going to see something interesting happen. It's called reachability. So we're not pressing the button. So let's say, okay, I've got my phone, I've got it one-handed, I've got my iPhone 7 Plus in one hand, and I want to get to that camera button. Is it possible for me in one hand, to get the camera button?
I see why they've done it.
It's not possible. So watch. All I need to do, I'm not pressing the button. No. Let's be very, I'm tapping the top of the button. I'm not putting any force or any pressure. I'm just going tap, tap, and guess what I can get? I can get the camera. If I want to turn the flash on and off, I go tap, tap, and I can reach the flash.
All it does is,
Yeah.
it shifts down.
It shifts down, yeah. It's called reachability. You're not pressing the button, you're just tapping it.
Okay.
Tap, tap, try it. Light. There we go. Your finger's broken. But,
How do I put it on? I haven't got it on this. I've got it on my iPad.
so you don't have it on that because you don't have the Touch ID sensor on that phone.
No. Oh, it's not on.
It has to physically have that sensor that reads your fingerprint in order to
I
work.
didn't know
You
whether
have an
it was on
iPhone
or
5. You need to have a 5S or above to be able to have that
That's
reachability.
Right.
Tap, tap.
Does that mean you can text now then with one hand? Because I've heard one negative about the large one you've got, is that you have to use 2 hands for texting. But if you drop it, does that mean you can text with
If I
one
drop
hand?
it, I can text with one hand. I'm pretty good, but I can also be lazy. I can just send a text message by talking if I wanted to, and it's a lot lazier to do things this way.
It's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, look at that.
Well, except for laser. But
What are you trying to get to when you do that?
nothing. She just asked a question, and that's how I text. I never type things. I'm always like, hey, do this, and the voice stuff's pretty good. It's actually better than voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir from yesterday. If none of you know what that meant, that was brilliant because I did not tell Matthew I was doing that. That's what made life so much funnier. But the next thing I want to move on to, let me see what's the next thing on my list, is Control Center. Now, I need you to go onto the main screen of your device. We've talked about airplane mode and Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all these other things, but we don't always want to go into settings to get those things to work. So what's cool is when we're on the main screen, if we drag our finger below where the device starts and pull up, it's hard to do if you're in like an OtterBox case, but you can try, you will get your Control Center.
Yeah.
This gives you access to turn on and off airplane mode, on and off Wi-Fi, on and off Bluetooth, and then on and off the little tiny moon thing.
What's that for?
What's that for?
Sleep mode.
So sleep mode now, it's called Do Not Disturb.
Oh, that one.
And when I'm in the theater, the last thing I want, now I'm going to tell you, everything I teach with, this is what's very strange, other than this MacBook Pro, which I have a different MacBook Pro personally, I use this one for my video editing and stuff like that, everything I teach with is my personal device. I'm signed in on my Facebook, I'm signed in on everything like that. Do you think I want my Facebook messages coming up on a 17-foot tall screen in the theater in front of everyone? No. So the first thing no, okay, I don't want that happening. So the first thing I do is I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Now, why I've loved the iPhone for years, the main thing that keeps an iPhone in my pocket, I will be completely honest, over a Samsung phone, the main thing that keeps an iPhone in my pocket is the physical silent switch on the iPhone, is I have a switch that I can physically silent. None of the Android phones have a physical silent switch. They have buttons, they have like a button on the screen, I don't care. It's a physical silent switch. But when you put something on silent, your device still vibrates, correct? It's going bzzz, bzzz. So every time you get something in, it still vibrates. Do not disturb mode will not disturb you at all. You will get no notifications, no noises, no vibrations, nothing like that. I was woken up at 3 in the morning a couple days ago to learn that Joni from Joni and Chachi died. You know, what's her name? I don't know her name.
Erin Marin.
Erin Marin died. From CNN woke me up at 3 in the morning to tell me that because I didn't have Do Not Disturb on. Do you think I care?
No.
Not at 3 in the morning. I might care, but not at 3 in the morning. Here's the important thing about night shift. If you have silent on, it's just going to be silent. If you have, not night shift, if you have Do Not Disturb on, it's not going to let you know anything. It's not going to disturb you at all. Now, what I mentioned is during the theater class today, when I started the Google Photos class, I had 0 messages. I now have 1 message. So I now have 1 message. Now, I have Do Not Disturb on, so it's not telling me. I'll tell you, right before I started this class, I executed a stock trade in the U.S. stock market, and I have no clue whether that trade is executed or not because I have Do Not Disturb on, so it's not giving me the notifications there. The main difference between Do Not Disturb and silent is if somebody calls you twice within 3 minutes, the second call will not be silenced. So if there's an emergency, someone can get to you and Do Not Disturb. Does that make difference? That's something very different. Yeah.
Do not disturb. I think I have my
Yep.
favorite set.
Yes, you can set in the settings.
As well?
In the settings, you can set your favorites, and they'll get through as well when you're in the Do Not Disturb mode. Now, next door to that is a little rotation lock. Do you see that there?
Yeah.
In the command center, right on the bottom. So scroll up from the bottom. Control center, yeah. Control center.
I get that.
You're just one over. We're going to get there in a minute.
Okay.
So you got that little lock. What that's good for is, let's say you want to read an email and you want to lay down in bed. Well, if you want to read an email and lay down in bed and you go like that, if you put on the rotation lock, you can still read it. If you don't put on the rotation lock, it's going to turn sideways on you. Does that make sense? Now on an iPad, if you have an older iPad, there might actually be a switch on it, and you can choose whether that switch is for rotation lock or mute.
Yeah.
The newer iPads don't have a switch. Instead of a switch, they've replaced it with another microphone. So if you look at the newer iPads where the switch used to be, there's actually another microphone. Then you have your brightness. Right there. You got your brightness up. You got your brightness down right there.
Which one is the brightness?
This big bar right there.
Oh, that. Okay.
So that will manually adjust your auto brightness. Now I want you to look at something that says AirPlay. Do you see that? If you notice, when I do the theater classes, when I do these classes, do you ever see me wired to a screen, or can I walk around? Can I very safely go everywhere? So what I have is I'm using AirPlay. I'm wirelessly sharing out to my screen. If you understood the setup in the theater is actually very, very simple. I'm going to explain to you how it works. You notice that Windows computer that's to the right of my Mac computer? There's a Lenovo laptop that's next to my Mac laptop on the podium. The Windows computer is sucking in Celebrity Wi-Fi, redistributing Celebrity Wi-Fi as a local network. My laptop's connected to that network, as is my phone. And then my laptop's connected to the screen, and I AirPlay from my phone to the screen. Here it's a lot more confusing. In this room it's a lot more confusing because I have my laptop, I'm projecting my laptop to the screen, I'm then projecting my phone to the laptop while I'm recording the screen of the laptop. During these classes, my laptop battery, it went this morning from 100% when I got out of bed. By the time I finished that Google Photos class, it was 20%. Now, someone hit a button. Who hit the button? Okay. I'm going to find someone. Someone hit a button. I need to make sure who hit the button did not mess something up. Did somebody hit AirPlay? And okay, good. Whoever did it undid it. We're good. Okay. Why I don't want you to do that is that's going to mess up the recording if we do it. So I don't want you to, I want to just show it to you. You are welcome to, someone hit the button.
Guess who?
Jane
Was
Poole's
it
iPhone.
you?
Uh-oh. It says Jane.
Jane, Jane.
Jane. I thought you said
Jane, I said
I'm
don't
innocent.
hit the button.
Oh dear.
Here's the
Change
problem.
name on my phone.
Here's the problem though, it stops my recording. That's why I don't like to show people this.
I didn't hear you say don't hit it, I think you said hit it.
No, I said don't hit the button. Hold on, let me save this. What's this setting? Don't hit the button. The first class followed the directions, Jane.
She didn't hear you. Thank you.
I know why she didn't hear.
I did.
Okay, so let me get back recording. Okay, nobody hit the button anymore. Okay, cool. Only Richie hits the button. When I hit the button, it allows me to AirPlay to any available devices that are going around, and it allows me to AirPlay to the devices. Nobody hit the button. I don't need another clip to clip together. So that will allow you to AirPlay. What I have is I have an Apple TV hooked up, and that's how I'm wirelessly displaying to the TV, just to give you a little idea on that perspective there. That's how I'm wirelessly displaying to the TV. Now, next to that is something called AirDrop. Do you see that?
Yes.
I want you to take AirDrop and turn it on to everyone. AirDrop, everyone. If you don't see AirDrop, your device is too old, but it's okay. We see AirDrop, we've got everyone? We're good.
I've done it, yeah, I've done it before.
AirDrop, click on it, not AirPlay, AirDrop. And we're going to choose everyone. Let's check something real quick.
Where's it?
AirDrop, everyone. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got AirDrop, everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
We're going to talk about that. Since we were here, I wanted to turn it on now. We're going to talk about that in a couple minutes' time from now. Now, here was the other thing. I was going to show you something. What is the primary color coming off of my phone? If you had to say the primary color coming off of my phone right now, what color would it be?
Blue.
Blue. Blue light keeps you awake at night. So Apple has added something called Night Shift. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to remove the color blue from your screen. You'll notice that if you turn it on, your screen is much more yellow. So when we turn it on, yeah, you can try it. You're not going to break anything. Not like with AirPlay, Jane.
Oh, nice.
You know what's amazing,
Turn
though?
on till
Jane's husband's going to be editing the video of this class, so he's going to learn his wife's mistake.
That's why I did it.
That's why he did it, so he can learn better.
Where's the night shift?
We haven't got it. I haven't got it on.
It's on the bottom.
What does that say?
Oh, night shift.
Your device may not have it, or it may have it at the same time. Okay, it depends whether your screen is capable with it, but it's called Night Shift. It's right there, and it removes the color blue from the screen and it makes it more yellow. Now, we're going to find a way to determine whether your device, what your device is. How many of you know if you have a 6 or a 6S or a 7 or anything like that? Do you see the little flashlight right down there?
Yeah.
Press hard on the flashlight, harder than you'd normally press on the screen. And if you press hard on the flashlight, see, those of you who just went on, you don't have a 6S or a 7. If you press hard on the flashlight, you can actually choose. No, you won't get it on there. Only on a 6S or a 7, you will actually be able to choose from a low light, a medium light, or a bright light. This is something called Force Touch, which actually knows how hard you're pressing on the screen, which is really quite cool. So it knows how hard you're pressing on the screen. Now, not only for a flashlight, let's all turn our flashlights off because I don't want our batteries burning. Do you have a 7 or what do you?
6.
No, only a 6S or a 7 will have that. To turn the flashlight off, just go back and press the button again. There we go, now it's off. So what if I told you, this is going to sound like cuckoo crazy nutty town, what if I told you you could actually use your phone, if it has that function, to weigh things?
Oh, cool.
To weigh things. Now, Apple does not officially approve what I'm about to show you. It is not an app, it is a website. It will make very good sense why Apple does not approve this after I show it to you. It is not designed for weighing your luggage or doing anything like that. It is for weighing very small objects. What you do is you open this site.
Which side?
You just Google, all you need to do is just Google weigh things with your iPhone, and the first thing will show up there. You open the site, and then you place your object on the screen of your phone. So I place the object on the screen of the phone. And I can see that that is 5.77 grams.
Wow. Can you do that with envelopes?
Yes. Here's the problem though. Let me explain to you very simply. Just Google, you can Google weigh things with your iPhone with Force Touch and you'll find the website. It's not a website I can reference, it's just someone's little project they made. Let me tell you the reason Apple's never going to allow this in app form. Because the way they distribute it is that you have to have a conductive metal to put on the screen in order to weigh, right? So if I have that, I can take that 16 grams and I can, if I wanted to weigh, say this pen, I can take, because I have a carabiner which is conductive, I can tear it, so it goes down to 0, and then I can put that there, and then I can figure out the weight that's on there. Now, how they recommend weighing things is with a spoon. You're starting to see why Apple won't allow this, aren't you?
Yeah.
This is a drug dealer's favorite app. You take a spoon, you put the marijuana on the spoon, you tear it, then you can figure out how much weed you got, how much ecstasy you have. But someone actually found a way. That's why Apple's never going to use this as weighing. And you can see it doesn't weigh suitcases or anything like that. But it's just really cool from a technical demo that you can weigh envelopes and everything. You just need to put something conductive on the top. So you put like a spoon or a knife, and then you tear the knife, and then you put the envelope on top, and it will actually go ahead and weigh. It's really cool. It's a really cool concept. It's something that I can guarantee no one in this room has ever heard of before, because I just heard of it rather recently. Now, we need to go back to the command center, the control center. Now we can get to the clock easily, we can get to the calculator easily, we can get to the camera easily. But what I want you to do is I want you to take your device in the control center and swipe from right to left in the control center. And that's going to show you the music that's currently playing. It's like up, and then right to left.
Where do you swipe? In the middle?
Kind of anywhere that there's not a button. You just do a very brisk swipe anywhere that there's not a button. And it's going to show you what's currently playing. So music, podcast, TV show, anything like that will show up.
From the home screen? Or from
From the home screen. Yeah, so it'll show you what's going on right there. Now, I can do it one more time.
Thank you for downloading this.
Oh, thank you for the podcast, yeah.
Where is that coming from?
It's coming from the last thing you had playing on your device. So the last thing that you had playing on your device, whether that's a TV show, a movie, something in Safari, it doesn't matter. It's what's actively in the now playing queue. Now, I can swipe it one more time, which nobody in this room could probably swipe it one more time, but I can swipe it one more time because I have set up light bulbs inside of my control center, and I can turn the lights on and off throughout the house. I can change the temperature, I can turn the lights on and off, all kinds of stuff like that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We're going to talk about HomeKit and IFT and different stuff like that when we talk about advanced apps, but just to give you an idea.
Is that on a 7 or a 6?
It can be on anything. It can be on anything as long as you have compatible lights. So it'll work going back. It's part of something called HomeKit. You probably noticed that on the screen of your phone, if you're on iOS 10, you have something called Home that shows up on your screen. That's for home automation. What's cool is what controls all the home automation for Apple is actually an Apple TV. So I have an Apple TV in my house. That's the main bridge for all of my home automation stuff, which is really quite a cool thing. That is Control Center, and that's what we're going to talk about with Control Center. So, we talked about night shift. We talked about do not disturb. Let's get to the big animal in the room, managing storage, both iCloud and device. So we're going to go to settings. You hopefully have a good case on there. We're going to go to settings,
I think so.
general, and storage and iCloud usage. Settings, general, storage, and iCloud usage, and give it just a minute to do its thing. So, you'll see the first thing that says storage up there, right? And it should say, like we discussed yesterday, how much used space we have, how much free space we have, but you'll see something underneath that says manage storage. Click it. This is going to show you what's using all of your space. It's going to be, what's it, photos?
Yeah.
Music? Podcasts?
Strangely enough, Amazon Music, which I never use.
Ah! Amazon Music, which you never use, so delete it, and then you'll get space back.
But then I lose all the downloaded things from Amazon.
You can always re-download them.
Sure.
Well, we'll look at it later. Let's look at it offline. But you can see my number one thing is photos and camera. Who is the one that likes podcasts? The
Me.
podcast app from Apple is terrible.
Oh,
God. So
I'm going to give you a better podcast app tomorrow. So in the advanced apps class, we're going to talk about an app called Downcast.
Oh, good.
That's my number 2 storage. My number 3 storage. How many of you love loading audio and video onto your device from iTunes? It's so easy, isn't it?
I can't.
That's a joke. I'm going to show you how to get audio and video on your device without iTunes. That's what's really cool. So sans iTunes, forgetting iTunes. But what I want you to look at is just you can see where all of your storage is going now. So you can see where all the storage is, and you can see why you might be out of space. Now I want to click back storage and iCloud usage on the top, and I want you to click on the second set of managed storage under iCloud and then manage storage. So we're going to click back. We're going to click iCloud manage storage. If you are on the iLounge network, which we got you on, you might be on, you might have to switch over, but it's actually going to tell you how much storage you have in iCloud, which you'll see.
I can't find that.
Scroll down a bit, it's there. You'll see I have 5 gigs of storage in iCloud, and
okay,
I have available 1.69 gigs. I keep almost nothing in my iCloud. The only thing I keep in my iCloud is, believe it or not, the presentation that I'm doing tonight, the one I'm doing at 8 o'clock tonight for the game show, I keep in my iCloud. So I've got my keynote right in my iCloud, and that's very simple. It's got my keynote right there, and that's a 1.3 gig keynote file, because my keynote files are huge. Now, how many of you see something that says iCloud Photo Library there?
Yeah.
That's where all of your iCloud storage hath gone.
Yeah.
That's where it's all gone.
So as soon as I do the Google, I'll get rid of that.
You're going to do the Google. Yeah, you should see iCloud Photo Library as your number 1 thing. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yeah.
That's your number 1 thing on iCloud. As soon as your Google Photos, give your Google Photos about a month or so to get everything up, and then cancel your iCloud. Now, here's the question. How do we cancel the iCloud plan?
No, that's
I'm going to show you how to do that.
the wrong one.
Let me show you, I'm going to show you how to do that. Yeah, question.
iCloud storage details are currently unavailable.
Means-
Again later.
It means you're not on the line right now, very likely. Let's see if you're on my iLounge network. You're not on the iLounge network. Yeah, you're not selecting Wi-Fi.
Down here.
So if you go on
iCloud.
iLounge, that's why I had everybody connect there. Let me see. It'll connect in a couple seconds.
Change
Okay,
the name of
so-
this phone.
Is this supposed to just be like this and show nothing else?
Click Manage Storage on the bottom.
New one.
At the end. It's loading right now. So, you can see I have all my things that are coming on. So, my iLounge smartphone photo challenge is 220 megabytes. That's the scavenger hunt we're doing tonight is the smartphone photo challenge. Just to give you an idea. Unfortunately, I can't show you that. The good news is, if you remember, I want you to remember during the photo safari we did the other day, I told a couple of you to take a picture, and it would be very useful later on in the cruise. Just remember what that picture was of. You probably don't want to tell anybody. Don't tell anybody else. That's the winning picture. I said take that picture.
I got it.
If you've got it, then you two are going to fight each other for the prize tonight. But I was like, take that picture, which is actually kind of an interesting thing there. So I've got that all stored in there. So here's the question. How do I downgrade my iCloud storage if I wanted to downgrade my iCloud storage? So my phone is going to work a little bit different than all of your phones. But we're going to go into the main settings, so the main place of settings. And if you have the newest software on your phone, which I do not, you will see at the top of settings, you will see your name. If you're a bit older, you should scroll down and you'll see something that says iCloud. That's okay. So you may see your name all the way at the top. If not, scroll down and click where it says iCloud. It's the same thing. If you see the thing that says your name, just click on your name and then choose iCloud once you're in your name.
I think we went too fast for me.
Okay.
I don't even know where we are anymore.
Settings?
Settings.
You're going to go down. No, everybody has it in a slightly different place depending on the exact software they have on there.
So settings, general?
Nope, just normal settings.
Yeah.
And you click on your name and then you click on iCloud. I have it right inside iCloud. But there's a button that seems very counterintuitive. It says storage in iCloud, and then it's going to say buy more storage. Now you're saying, I don't need more storage. Why am I going to buy more storage? But you have to go to buy more storage to get less storage. I don't expect you to follow along right now because you're going to have to put in a whole bunch of passwords and stuff, which I don't want you to do. But if I click on buy more storage, what it's going to ask me is it's going to say, what storage tier do I want? And it's going to say 50 gigs, 100 gigs, 250 gigs, a terabyte. Do you know what's going to be all the way at the bottom? The button that says go back to the free storage tier. So you're going to go in, you're going to click on buy more storage. I think we've all clicked it at the same time. So, okay. So some of you are paying 99 cents a month, some of you are paying $2.99 a month, $9.99 a month, and there's a button on the bottom that will say downgrade. We are not all going to get there right now. I just wanted to show you where it was. Turn off your flash. I don't want you killing your battery life.
I don't know how to do this.
Scroll up the command center from the bottom.
Are we supposed to be signing into iCloud?
No, I don't want you to do that right this second.
Okay.
Oh, wow. There we go.
Is it on this one, Jane?
There we go. Okay. I just don't want the battery dying on the flash. So, what you would have is if you have like the 99-cent one or something
Yeah.
selected,
Yeah.
underneath all of these storage plans, there's going to be a button that says downgrade. Don't sign in right now. I just want to show you where it is. There's going to be a button that says downgrade, and it'll say 5 gigabytes free.
Okay. It doesn't have this button.
Yes.
Right.
Well, it's because
No?
you're on free already, so you're fine.
I get this.
No, you're not all the way. So it's gonna. I'm gonna go in. No. Just stay seated. I'm gonna get you going.
Okay.
So it may also say change storage plan as well. It might not say buy more storage. It may say change
Or
storage
downgrade?
plan
Okay.
That's only if you get it closed, right?
or downgrade. Get out. You just need free. There's no reason to do anything other than the free one. Because the only thing that's taking up all of your storage is your photos and videos.
Right.
And we've solved that problem. I'm going to go back one step so you can see because it shows a little bit different. This is the newer devices. This is the older devices. Don't ask for the witchcraft of how I show 2 iPhones on the same screen at the same time because I'm not going to share that with you. That's my secret. But I've got her iCloud right here. This is what some of you may have. And there's a button that says change storage plan. If you're on the older software, it will say buy more storage. And if you hit change storage plan, it may ask me to put in her Apple password, which I will conveniently hand it to her to get. I can hit change storage plan, and I'll let it load up, and there's a button that says downgrade. It's right on the bottom, and you downgrade to the free storage plan.
Then they want your password and everything.
Then they want your password and everything, which is something I don't want to go ahead and do right now. But to give you an idea, if you're already paying, it's going to be down on the bottom. It's going to say downgrade, and you'll be okay with that right there. Let me just see. Oh, it's working. Okay.
So, mine up top says free in this check.
If it says free, then you're already on the free tier, and you're okay. You don't need to worry about it.
Richard,
Only if you're paying. Yeah.
back on the iCloud page, should iCloud Drive be on or Photos be on? Or
In the iCloud page, the only thing that you need to worry about turning off is inside of Photos. You want it to not say iCloud Photo Library. So you can click in iCloud Photos, iCloud Photo Library.
click it off?
Click that off when you get home.
When your Google stuff is done.
When you get home and your Google stuff is done, so you turn off the iCloud Photo Library, it'll delete that in 30 days, and then downgrade the storage to 5 gigs. Your drive and all that stuff is not going to take more than 5 gigs. Yeah.
The photo stream on?
Photo Stream's fine. Photo Stream streams the most recent 1,000 pictures across all of your devices without using that 5 gigs of storage space. But you know what also does that just as good, if not better?
Google Photos.
Just give up on iCloud dealing with stuff. And the thing is, I should be the last person telling you to give up on iCloud, but here's the thing. My goal is that you go over to Google. My goal is that you start using Gmail, you start using Google Photos, you start using all that. It works nice, fast, easy, simple, good to go. Next thing we're going to talk about, Touch ID. Remember I said the big determining factor. So here's the thing. Let's just keep it right here. You don't have Touch ID. Don't worry about this whole segment of the next 3-4 minutes.
Me neither, I reckon.
Okay. If you want to make Touch ID work better, what you need to do is add the same finger multiple times. So you add the same finger multiple times. So you go into the settings, and you go into Touch ID and passcode. You can put in your passcode. And you can add, it's in normal settings, Touch ID and passcode, and you can add the same finger multiple times. What I recommend is thumb, and on your dominant hand, this one time. So add thumb one time, dominant hand, which is my left hand.
Yeah.
I add this one, that eats up your 5 things. As simple as it sounds. That's the way I do it. If I'm currently in a relationship, it's thumb, and then the woman gets one.
Okay,
Because,
is that
you
the
know.
password?
Where is Touch ID
It's in the settings.
in the settings?
Touch ID, no, you went too far.
Is that password and security?
Touch ID and passcode.
Oh, okay,
Touch ID, no, that's in iCloud.
okay.
Touch ID and passcode. There we go. And you put that in, and if you want to add the same fingerprint multiple times, you just hit add fingerprint, and you add another fingerprint. And we're not going to add another fingerprint right now, but that's the cool thing about Touch ID. Let's have a little further discussion about Touch ID, though. Really, yep. What's the question?
Label these, I just didn't.
Yeah, you can label them.
Okay.
And if you want to know what they are, if you put your finger down lightly, don't press the button, put your finger down lightly, it will actually identify which ones they are. It'll light up. So you see, that's middle finger for some reason is this one. And then this one is finger 3. And this one is, actually I don't even know what finger 4 is. That might be the new girlfriend's. That's the truth. Because here's the thing. You never give them your code, because then they can always get in. But if you give them a finger and they disappoint you, you can give them the finger. That's what I've learned over the years. You can always remove the finger. Okay, so let's talk about Touch ID for 30 seconds time. Whenever I go through immigration, or I go through security, or I go through anything like that, I turn my phone off, because when you reboot your phone, Touch ID does not work. It is intentional that it does not work when you reboot your phone. So Touch ID, very useful. Intentional that it does not work. You can also use Touch ID not only for unlock, you can use Touch ID for Apple Pay, which we'll talk about in another class, and then you can use it for buying stuff from the iTunes store. So instead of putting in your password every time, you can do that, which is what's very useful. Yeah?
What about when you reboot? Don't you lose data?
No, when you reboot, you don't lose anything. I'm not talking about reset. I'm just talking about
reboot.
I'm just talking about reboot.
Reboot.
I'm just talking about turn off the device, you turn it back on, because it is a legal precedent in the United States that they can make you put your finger on a device with a subpoena, but giving your code is self-incrimination, so they can't force you to give your code. So just as an FYI, there's a legal precedent for that. So I always shut it off because I...
So this is the shut off right here.
Yeah, I
And the
turn...
reset, you have to...
Yeah, we're going to talk
setting.
about reset. The reset's the last thing we're going to talk about today.
Right, okay.
Now, let's go to AirDrop. We're going to talk about AirDrop. We've got 20 minutes or so to talk about what we have left. We're not going to finish this sheet today. Just so you know, I designed this class this morning. So the first group was my guinea pigs. I know exactly where we should be at this point. We're on time for where we should be. And some of the things in this class are going to get moved to tomorrow's class. So I already know where we're going there. But I want to talk about AirDrop. Now, we all turned on AirDrop, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something. Yep, it was a thing on the bottom that we slid up and we said everyone. Yeah. I'm going to show you something mischievous I do because I'm what they call a cheeky little bugger. AirDrop. We've got AirDrop right here. Do you see this little guy right here that says, I'm watching you? Remember I told you that my iPhone is just called iPhone?
Yes.
It's because I was trying to do some mischievous stuff the other day. I went to this is a very interesting thing, the only national brand that is in Bermuda is Bonefish Grill because it came from Bermuda. They ban all other brands. So that's why you don't see a McDonald's or a Burger King or a Wendy's or a Taco Bell. So I went to Bonefish Grill for breakfast, and I was looking for some people who had AirDrop on. And there's a company called AirDrop, there's a website called AirDrop Cards. And they have these really weird cards that you can send to people who happen to have AirDrop on. So I can have like, I'm watching you. Let's see who we've got. Where's Tony? So watch what's cool. Is it'll pop up on Tony's screen and it'll say, I'm watching you. or to Bridget's. Where's Bridget? Okay. Oh, it's right next door. Okay. I'm watching you.
How are you finding all these?
So I'm going to show you how I'm finding all these people. But what's really cool is I can go in. I have all these AirDrop cards. It's like if you put your finger in your ear and scratch, it sounds just like Pac-Man. And it's just cute. Oh, this one's great. But when you want to mess with people, you don't want them knowing it's Richard's iPhone sending it, so you just sit there innocently and just like.
Does it say where it came from?
No, it says the name of the device. Remember we changed our device's name the other day in the about? Remember I said you want to make sure it says your name's iPhone?
Right.
My iPhone's usually called iLounge Manager's iPhone. So I just called it iPhone. And it just says iPhone's trying to send you something. Now I used to show AirDrop in Celebrity Central until someone sent me a picture from a nude beach. That was not the type of picture I want to see.
You did that through Bluetooth.
I'm going to show you. I want you to open your camera app. Not your camera app, your Photos app. Photos app. Not Google Photos, normal photos. Why I'm saying normal photos is because I know everybody has normal photos on their device. You can do this from Google Photos as well. And we're going to go here, and we can choose, oh, I know what I can drop. I can drop our selfie from the other day. Where's our selfie? I'm looking for it. Okay. It's not a great picture, but what's cool is I can select, go ahead and choose a single picture, and you're going to hit the button that's the box with the arrow coming out of it. Do you see a box with an arrow coming out of it?
Yeah.
Hit on that box with the arrow coming out of it, and what it's going to do is it's going to show you all the people that are around you. It uses
I
a
see the
combination
airdrop
of
all
both
over.
Wi-Fi
Uh-huh.
and Bluetooth. So there's a combination of both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to show you the people that are around you.
Box with an arrow?
Box with an arrow.
Mhm.
Click on a single picture.
Do I send it to you, Jane?
Choose the box with the arrow. And it will go ahead, and what we've got is we've got all the people that are around me. These are people that are in both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth range. You can airdrop between any devices that have the lightning connector, the small little connector. So you can airdrop between any devices that have the lightning connector or any Mac from 2011 and on. So any Mac going back to 2016, which is about when they changed it. The lightning connector has nothing to do with it, but that's when they changed to Bluetooth 4.0. So you can airdrop it. And if I go ahead and if I want to take this picture, I can send it to Tony, and it'll pop up. Someone go ahead and send something to iPhone. You should see one that's just called iPhone. That's me.
It said pizza iPhone.
Debbie-
No, just
Debbie-
iPhone.
Debbie
There we
just
go.
sent me a thing, yeah.
So Kimberly's iPad wants to share me a picture of Kimberly's black eye. Okay.
So do I just press on iPhone?
Or she wants to say, okay, Michelle's sending me something amusing. I'm going to take it. This is a weird piece of art they have in the art gallery. I've seen it. I showed it to my mom when she came on board. I'll show you. It's, oh, we got that one. I'll take that one too.
I sent you one, you didn't get
I
it.
know, everybody's sending me at the same time. It's okay. But I'm airdropping, and you can airdrop these pictures. Remember, they have to have an iPhone or an iPad. It has to have the lightning connector. So it has to have the small connector in order to do it. I'm going to decline pictures now because I don't need any more. I don't need any more.
They have to be in the same room.
They have to be in your vicinity. Yes.
So how do you turn it off? Because it says waiting.
We're not going to turn it off. It'll decline. The picture that she sent was this weird picture.
Isn't it
I
great?
saw that.
I
I saw
love
that
that
one.
picture.
Some people have taste in art. Other people like art where the dogs are clowns. Okay, don't worry about it.
Oh, I see that.
Okay, so anyway,
Yeah.
we've conquered that.
We've conquered that. So that's how you drop pictures. But here's the thing. Anywhere that box with the arrow exists, you can drop. So you have an iPhone 7, right? Who has an iPhone? You have an iPhone 7. Okay, so watch this. Do you remember that website that I showed a couple minutes ago that lets you figure out the weight of things?
Yes.
So what's cool is you see that what exists right here is the box with the, oh, be quiet, phone. The box with the arrow exists there, so I can hit the box with the arrow, and I can say, I want to send that to, your name is?
Cindy.
Cindy. Well, we have a lot of people. Usually there's just one person in here.
Of course, it's not on my Cindy's iPhone.
Okay, Cindy's iPhone, and when I hit Cindy's iPhone, it's going to send her that link from Safari.
If she's got receiving,
If she's got receiving set to everyone.
Yeah.
Plus, when you keep receiving set to everyone, it means I can send you an AirDrop card. Now, understand that AirDrop only works when your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are on. They don't need to be connected to anything. So you can use this when there's no Wi-Fi or no Bluetooth coverage. They just need to be on. Because it uses Bluetooth to find devices around you, then Wi-Fi to send it. We don't need internet to do this. So I've done this in Alaska, I've done it on a boat, I've done it everywhere, even when there's no Wi-Fi. You can send anything. I'm going to give you one more concept. Contacts.
Could you say that, Peter? I watch you.
What?
Could you say that, Peter? I'm watching you.
So the I'm watching you, honestly, if you go to the website airdropcards.com, they have 50 different things that you can airdrop to people. I downloaded it the other day, I had too much fun. But if I wanted to send like my contact information to someone, I can just hit share contact, and when I hit share contact, let me see who's safe to send it to. Linda, oh no, Jane. Jane already has my contact info. There we go. I can hit Jane Poole, and it should pop up on her device, and she can say accept, and she gets my contact info. This is kind of.
Change it to retarded sister.
Oh, don't worry about that. That's a Siri trick. That's a Siri trick. You can actually say, Siri, from now on, call Julie Shillington this, and it goes ahead and, yeah, it's special. Those are just things that have been in my cards from back in the day. but you can airdrop anything, anywhere. Even to give you an example, if I wanted to go to iCloud Drive, let's talk about the future where there's no paper. One of the nice things, I like a paperless future. You'll notice that I gave out, if I wanted to send you a digital copy, I haven't had the Gmail class printed yet, but this is the handout for the Gmail class. If I wanted to send it to somebody, instead of printing it, I could just go ahead and I can airdrop it.
Oh, yes, do that.
No, I'm not going to do it to everyone right now. I'll airdrop it later. Here's the cool thing. I can airdrop it to like 3 people, and then you guys can airdrop it amongst yourselves. But that's how I can do it. Someone came up to me in the theater and said, I missed the first class. Do you have a copy of it? I said, of course, it's on my laptop, and I airdropped it to their phone. Then someone else came up to me 30 seconds later, said, I have a Samsung phone. I missed the first class. I said, go see it on YouTube. Because you can't airdrop to Samsung phones. Yeah.
What's that about?
So he just got a PDF file, because I sent you the PDF file, and you have multiple ways to open a PDF file, so it's asking you where you want to open it in.
So what does that mean?
I would open it in iBooks.
It says PDF scanner, PCL Pro, or cancel.
It doesn't matter, whatever.
And then where will I find it?
I don't know. What did I send you?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
think it was the class thing.
PDF scanner. Someone else might have sent you something. I don't think that was me. But that's the concept there, is you can go in and you can share anything. You do not need internet to do this. I think that's where it gets really interesting.
So in what, you can open it?
In any iBooks. iBooks. Okay. So we're going to do reorganizing apps, spotlight search, notifications, and device reset. That's going to take us about 10 minutes to do that, to give you an idea. So, reorganizing apps. How many of you have, let's use my favorite word ever. I love to use that in the theater today. That brought me so much joy to say fustercluck in the theater. I said it 3 times. Yes. Hotel director was standing in the back. I was like, fustercluck, fustercluck, fustercluck. He's like, yeah.
Saying grouping?
Okay, yeah, grouping apps.
Not a good idea?
No, I'm saying it is. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. But I want to show you something. We've probably all grouped icons before. You can take any app. You can drag an app over another app. One of my favorite apps is the, I don't have it anymore. I used to have a folder called Crapple, which was all the crap that Apple put on the device, like the weather app and the stock app. Because you know what's funny?
You can't take them off.
They're going to, no, you can now.
Oh,
You can. What? No, you can.
I don't need.
So a good thing, you can actually, it's in Apple Apps here. I have it. If you hold down on the screen lightly, you'll actually be able to delete the stock app. The good news is both the stock and weather app will delete themselves very soon. Probably with iOS 11.
Oh.
Do you know why?
No.
Guess who runs the data for the stock and weather app? Yahoo!
So it'll be on.
Yeah, Apple might come up with their own servers. They might go to Google. The problem is, the only other source other than Yahoo is Google. So Apple's probably going to start making things themselves. If you remember, I mentioned the ad that was in the Google, before the Google Photos app. Apple's trying to become Google a little bit because they can't get involved. But yeah, you can delete a lot of built-in apps now. If you didn't want, one of the things I was talking about is, she was talking about the right way to check email, to check your Gmail is actually with the Gmail app. And we'll talk about that, not the Blue Mail app.
Which is the Gmail app?
This one. That's one you download from the App Store. We're going to talk about that in the Gmail class. That's coming up in a little bit. But we go in, the right way to do it is the Gmail. But here's what I want to show you. We've all grouped apps. We've all done that before. But I want to show you how to ride the train. You're like,
Okay.
this is something I didn't come up with. My old assistant, who I promoted to manager, he came up with this. He goes, well, I asked him, we were talking, someone asked him, well, if you want to get this app to the front page, how do you get this app to the front page? Because if you wanted to get this app to the front page, you'd have to jiggle it and move it and move it and move it. He says, he was from Spain, he goes, no, you ride the train. I'm like, excuse me, David? What do you mean you ride the train? He goes, you ride the train.
Go forward.
Okay, no, watch. What you do is, this is the train down at the bottom. You take something out of the train. So I took this out of the train,
Put it there and then move it.
put this in the train, move the train back to the beginning,
Oh, yeah, neat.
and then ride the train.
And then go back.
And then go back and pick up the other app.
You have to press on it so it.
Yeah, you have to press on it so it jiggles, it moves, and you can ride the train.
Okay.
I don't know, it's like, okay, I thought it was dumb, but now I ride the train all the time.
Oh, yeah.
How do you get them to move?
So if you hold your finger on it slightly, it'll start jiggling. On any app, and they'll all start jiggling.
All of them.
Yes, all of them will start jiggling. Everything you can delete will go ahead and start jiggling. You can't delete the App Store, you can't delete the settings, you can't delete the clock, because those are system services, as is Safari, as is Photos, as is Messages, because they're needed. You can't delete the phone app. I wish I could delete the phone app, because I never use that piece of trash. But that's the idea there. We can go in and we can move around all of these different things on there. Now, I want you to press the home button so things stop jiggling. If you notice, I have apps all over my device. So when I'm teaching a class, if I need Google Translate, how long is it going to take me to figure out where Google Translate is? Probably forever. Or if I need Duolingo, or if I needed, I did it today when I needed photo scan. When I need all these apps, you notice I can find the apps like this. I don't actually know where they are. I use Spotlight. So if you're not jiggling, if you pull down your screen, don't go on any specific app, pull down your screen and type in the name of an app you have, you'll have it there instantly. Here's what's so cool. Something cool that they added. Do you see this thing that says Siri Suggestions?
Yep.
When I teach my apps class, Siri has learned that class so well that it actually knows the sequence of orders I open apps, and I open Google Translate, it knows I'm going to open RunPee right after I open Google Translate, knows I'm going to open Duolingo right after I open RunPee, knows I'm going to open Photomath after that, and it learns. But I search for my apps. I have 400 apps. I don't know where they all are. So I can just type in something like Translate, and it'll show me Google Translate. It will also show me what, come on, catch up. It's there. It'll also show me what folder it's in. It's in the Google folder. Or Trailers is in the Apple folder. Or Transmission is in the Media folder. I can actually go through and I can see every folder that all of the things are in. So that's called Spotlight. That's actually a very, very cool thing. Last two things we're talking about today, notifications and reset. Everything we skipped is the same thing we skipped in the first class. We're going to come back to it tomorrow. So now I know how to properly design this class, if that makes sense. So notifications and reset. We're going to go to our settings. Normal settings, not general or anything. And then you're going to see notifications. Do you have an app that bothers you all the time with useless crap? I do. I do. I have an app that bothers me. All that. When you have 300 apps. If you click on notifications, you can revoke the power for any app to notify you. So you just click on notifications, click on a single app, and let's say Ankanatar, the genie. It says allow notifications, turn that off. Boom. No more notifications. Does that make sense? I don't get any more notifications from that app. Last thing we're going to talk about is all of the different resets you can do with your device. Tomorrow we will get to the wireless flash drive. We will talk about, someone in the first class wanted to talk about location services, which are apps tracking your location, so they wanted to talk about that. Wanted to talk about saving passwords as well, and we'll get into that. But the last thing I want to show you is a reset. Let's say you get a new phone, you want to sell your phone, you want to give your phone to your husband, you want to give your phone something like that, your phone's acting up. I want to talk about the different types of resets there are. So this is going to scare you, but we're going to go to Settings, General, scroll all the way down to the bottom where it says Reset. Now, we have a couple of different things we can reset. There's a lot of different resets. Settings, General, Reset. Do not reset anything. I'm just going to tell you. Settings, General, Reset. Do we see it?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's there. Stop drinking. No, Settings, General, Reset. All the way at the bottom. So, this is the no-no button right here. The one that says Erase All Content and Settings. That's the one we only want to press if we really want to give our phone to someone else and we're sure that everything's in Google Photos and everything's backed up and everything like that. So once we're sure of that, we hit that. To use that big no-no button, we need to put in our Apple password to use that button. But there's some other resets that are a bit more useful. Let's say your Wi-Fi is being stupid and not working, or you can't get a Bluetooth device to connect or something like that. I had a guy who came in right before the class who had his Apple Watch and his Apple Watch wasn't connecting. There's this button that says Reset Network Settings. That will reset all of your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and cellular stuff to its factory defaults. Or if you have something screwy that's happening in settings with your accessibility or it's zoomed or it's doing something dumb like that, you can reset all settings, which just resets the settings application. Does that make sense? So all of your data stays intact. You also have Reset Keyboard Dictionary. If the keyboard learns how to spell your name wrong, so the keyboard learns how to spell your name wrong, you can reset it back to the default of the dictionary. You have Reset Home Screen Layout. You know when you get your iPhone, you've got the the phone and the web browser and the message thing on the bottom. You got the camera in the upper right-hand corner. You got everything like that. If you want to make it just exactly like it was when you got it, it's going to reset the first screen, take all of your apps out of their folders on page 2 through whatever, and put them in alphabetical order. Just as a little setting of what it does. And the last thing is called reset location and privacy. This is something interesting, and this is where we will pick up tomorrow, because I think before we start talking about different apps, I want to talk about this because apps ask for your location a lot of the time. But the question is, what do they do with them? Very interesting story I was reading yesterday. Apple actually threatened, I was reading this last night, people go, when do you sleep? The answer was at 2 in the morning, I was reading this story. Apple actually threatened about a month ago to kick Uber off of the Apple App Store. Because they weren't following rules. They were tracking people. I'm going to tell you what Uber was doing real quick. They were tracking people after they got out of the Uber. And that's against Apple's rules, but here's what they did. They excluded it from happening in places where Apple's headquarters are. So that people who worked for Apple would never see that. They geo-fenced so that never happened. And Tim Cook just called over the guy from Uber and said, you turn this crap off or we're throwing you out of the App Store. And what do you think would happen if they threw Uber out of the App Store? Would Uber have gone out of business? Because let's be completely honest, Android users don't generally go in Uber cars. It's iPhone users that are generally using Uber cars. So it's very interesting how much power the App Store holds. And you either play by the rules or you don't play. So tomorrow, just so you know what we're doing, we're going to start with apps, but we're going to talk a little bit about location services. We're going to talk about some password apps. If any of you ever used a password keeper or different things like that. We're also going to talk about VPN. If you've heard of VPN before.
Just ask Jay what it was.
What's what? VPN?
What's VPN?
So we're going to talk about what VPN is. I'm going to give you 2 different VPNs to use. And we're going to talk about this guy, which I've been teasing. I don't mean to tease him that often. But this is a wireless flash drive. It's called the SanDisk Connect Wireless Flash Drive. As well as we're going to talk about some apps that let you manage your music and videos without iTunes, let you take your documents and everything like that, put it on your device without iTunes. You notice an iPhone or an iPad doesn't have a C drive, does it? It doesn't have a place like a My Documents folder. We give you an app that is essentially a C drive for your document. We're going to talk about podcast. We're going to talk about some programming apps for if this, then that. Really, and we're going to talk about a free stock trading app, which honestly, I need to check in about 30 seconds time and see if that trade executed, because I'm trying great day trading opportunity today, T-Mobile. I'm going to give you a good word of advice, T-Mobile US. I shouldn't say this on camera. Verizon lost customers. T-Mobile is releasing their earnings later today, and it's a little bit down. So where do you think those customers from Verizon went? They didn't decide they didn't want a cell phone, did they? They went somewhere.
They did.
So it's a good what? Nobody has Sprint because they have no coverage, but that's a story for another time.
Right.
But that's it for today for the second settings class. We're going to meet tomorrow at 3:30. Remember, there is no morning class tomorrow. Tomorrow's morning class is not for you guys. You don't need to come to tomorrow's morning class. What the tomorrow's morning in Cellar Masters at 10:30 in the morning is just if you have questions. You have your own questions class. It's okay. You don't want to come with the hundreds of people from the theater who have questions. It's not going to be a forum or anything like that. You have your own questions class after Lisbon. So it's okay. I want you to just understand. I won't see you tomorrow morning, but I will see you tomorrow afternoon. That's it for today. Bye.